What do you think, Mr. Dimitri? I don't think there's been a better day yet this summer for a pool. For a dip in the old pool. Good morning, everybody. Checking in from the Wildcat Sanctuary. Live with rescued tiger Dimitri, enjoying a rather quaint soak in his pool. Usually we see the tiger trio splashing and playing and really making a scene in their pool. But as it is kind of much across the United States, it is hot in Sandstone, Minnesota. We are tickling the triple digits. I think it's going to get up 97, 98 today. Hot. So Daniel K saying tiger in a pool. How fitting on a day like today with such high temperatures. We're glad that we're able to provide offerings for cats to cool off, like our in-ground pools and obviously all the other little amenities and things that we observe during these extreme weather times, whether it be heat. Obviously, you guys know how we keep our cats warm in the winter, but we are going to be talking about how we're keeping them cool, and Dimitri's giving us a great example. So, hey, Kathy Barton. Good afternoon. Hey, Lois A. Natalie Morales is here. Good morning, Faith Warner. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Jill M. Saying hi to Dimitri as well. It wouldn't be right, Mr. Dimitri. And speaking of pools, behind me I have a team of caretakers and animal care interns. They were just raising one of the pools with a big I always embarrass myself when I'm trying to name construction equipment. My grandmother used to call them a backhoe, so I'll call it a big backhoe. Lifting it over the habitat walls and getting the pool for Pandora that you guys helped us raise funds for, as well as Polina. And we were able to take Tiger Mohan's pool, which is also one of those kind of shallower pools, and move that over to Tigris Winona. So kind of a little bit of pool action going on there. Those pools obviously have literally just been placed. The cats have been shifted inside, so we'll be able to catch them actually going into their pool sometime this week. Let me keep on saying hello to the folks. Hey, Jim Brill. Hope you're doing well out in New Jersey. Hey, Ginger. Good morning to you. And already back up to the top. Hey, Valerie B. Let me get my sunglasses off here. Hey, Paul Landergan. Elliot Pickett. Backhoe sounds right. Thank you for that, Daniel. Paul Landgren, you guys are hotter than we are in Jacksonville, Florida. Holy cow, Paula. I didn't realize that. Definitely something to contend with. We not only have the heat, but also the humidity. So that's just obviously a whole nother kind of level onto that heat. You have the heat and then you kind of that heavy hot heat that's caused by the humidity. Hey, K Lovelight from Washington State. Glad to see some supporters out on the West Coast. And obviously, Dimitri's hanging out in his pool and is also just showing us not only a good example of, how our cats get to do what they want, when they want to do it, but the various ways to keep cool. So I've kind of been looking across their free-roaming habitat, and I don't see any of the other boys, and I can only imagine that they're staying cool and relaxing in their indoor bedrooms. So it's sweet to think that Dimitri says, hey, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to take a dip. I hear all types of ruckus from them putting that pool in over there. I'm going to check things out. I'm going to see what's going on for the better half of the morning, but at least I know I have that space inside I can take advantage of. So I can see Teresa, I can see Michael, I can see animal care interns walking along there. And so that would have been those two kind of special above ground pools that we guys asked you to help us out with. Caretakers had noticed that Tigers Polina, who lives with Tarek. We know Tarek likes his pool. Well, Polina seemed like she liked the pool, but it was a little too high for her to get into. We had added some extra steps for her. And even with those extra steps, what do you think? That's a big piece of equipment, mister. Yeah, what is that? But happy to hear that caretakers did notice that about Polina and her being a little bashful about entering her pool. Here comes Zeke after hearing a little bit of clamor and clang. Sorry if you guys are having trouble hearing me as well. But then we talked about Polina, but Pandora was also on that list as well. Pandora was a part of those cat moves. We know Pandora likes her pool, and living over in Roar Ridge, we wanted to make sure she had a place to take a dip. So they just finished dropping in a pool in Pandora's, and now it looks like obviously they're heading over to Polina and Tarek's habitat, and they're going to be dropping in the pool over there. But we are kind of going to move onward and forward up into the kind of front portion of the sanctuary. I saw kind of a lot of activity happening in Hybrid Haven, where our hybrid rescues live, and they were getting little kiddie pools set out for them. I guess I can turn my camera around here. They're getting little kiddie pools set out for them, and other little fun enrichment options that we use to keep the little ones cool today. So we're going to go up to Hybrid Haven. I've definitely missed out on some comments, so I'll be catching up on some comments up there. But off we go up to Hybrid Haven. I'm sure we'll check in over in Small Cat Track as well. I think I saw some kiddie pools going out over there as well. So stand by, everyone, for a golf cart ride. Aha, and another thing we're going to see, there's just a lot happening at the Wildcat Sanctuary this morning, is kind of the preliminary construction is taking place for the new Food and Wellness Center. So that is an electrical company who's coming and stripping down the walls in that back, which is soon to be kind of the dedicated enrichment area. I'm sure we're going to be able to see that project. Molly and I were in there taking pictures. I'm sure we'll be able to see that project a little bit more on a live post this week. All right, everyone. Welcome to Small Cat Track. We made it up to kind of the main entrance of the sanctuary of the ACC behind me. Prep room, obviously, where that transformation is going to be happening. But we're heading over to Hybrid Haven here. And understandably so. It's already, I think it's already in the 90-degree mark. We're not even past noon yet. So we'll see what's going on. It's nice to see that caretakers are putting out things like refilling the pool. I can see some fresh water in Hilo and Sebastian's pool, making little tuna sickles for the cats. And it'll be nice to see if anybody's taking advantage of it, but also nice to see that if it is hot and the cats are wanting to lay low, that they'll be doing that as well. So I see Rachel, Axel, and DJ have a pool. That's good for those three. I see Monica, Tiger, and Phoebe with a pool. Let's go check in with Riku, Dahlia, and Besty and see if they have any interest in their pool. And that's when I'm going to catch up on some comments, everyone. So happy everybody's joining us on this lovely Monday today. Hey, Miss Besty. It's lovely, but it certainly is hot. And I'll be able to slow down a little bit more and talk about, hey, you two, and talk about how the cats are keeping cool. Hey, Bestie. Hey, Miss Dahlia, or Miss Xena, excuse me. What do you guys think of your pool? So obviously, too, we saw Zeke in his in-ground pool. So I'll just kind of go over some of the things that we were talking about in Huddle and some of the things. There's Miss Dahlia. And some of the things that caretakers are keeping in mind today and some of the objectives that we have when things are hot like this. And obviously, you can see water. Water is very important in helping these cats cool off. You know, cats, you guys are cat people. Even your cat at home, your domestic cat, can be a little reluctant about drinking water. So it's really about increasing the amount of water sources for the cats. These in-ground pools, not only when they're placed into the cats' habitat are going to be a fun little place for them to have fun. But they're also going to be sticking their paw pads in there and cooling off their paw pads. They're going to be even maybe drinking out of the pool. And it's just another little outlet for them to cool off. Things like our cougars, for example, we were talking about kind of flooding the area in which we're going to feed the cats. So if we're going to feed them against the wall, we're going to just spray that down and kind of flood that area with the hose, and kind of that same idea. The cats are going to be coming through there and cooling those paw pads, and it's truly going to help them regulate that temperature and just help them stay healthy on days like this. And you guys know we have fleets of tuna sickles, blood sickles. You guys help us populate the habitats with those big perches and platforms, which give lots of shade and cover to the cats. Catching up on my comments now. Of course, I have sweaty fingers. Thank you for the 50 stars. Who would that have been? Marquetta. I love that name. Valerie B saying, I love the hybrids. We love them too, Valerie. We certainly do. It can be painful when we know how much suffering these little guys have to have because of the selfishness of humans. And we're happy that we're there for them and can be educating people about cats like Dahlia and Besty, and make sure that people know what type of cats they are. And look at Besty with the little bug there. And kind of just helping people understand what this breed is, because man, I love these cats so much, but it definitely comes with an understanding of what they are. Elaine asking, did they get in their baby pool yet? That's a good question, Elaine. Like I said, sometimes they'll use it for kind of enrichment. Sometimes I think it would be Thor, the Savannah. He is a big proponent of getting all the way in the pool. I even think Maximillon is a fan as well of getting all the way in the pool. I was curious. Besty is a pretty extroverted little miss here, and I could see her being bold enough to go into her pool. Because hybrid cats and Bengals, they do notoriously like water. Just catching up on a few comments. Eileen Dunlin, hey, glad to have you on this live post, and thank you for those 200 stars as well. I'm just giving myself 1 second to catch up on some comments here. And Daniel K, that's bringing up a really good point, is I hope there are lots of ice cream sandwiches and popsicles for the people at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Obviously, I've been talking a lot about cats and cat safety, but our people are just as incredibly important to us here at TWS as well. So making sure that our staff is indeed staying hydrated and monitoring their... Oh, well, look who is out here, mister. I didn't think you were outside. Talk about perches and platforms for the cats to stay cool under. There's Riku. I don't want you to get tangled up in my cord, mister. But yep, obviously making sure everybody's staying hydrated. Everybody is kind of monitoring each other. Oftentimes when you're suffering from heat exhaustion or kind of the onset of a heat stroke, you don't know that's happening. And for someone to be able there to be at your side is something important. So working in pairs is something we put an emphasis on. And hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. We've got all types of Gatorade and kind of electrolyte supplements that the caretakers and interns are consuming today. So good reminder, Daniel. And I like ice cream too. I wish it was all ice cream. I wish we could get away with just eating ice cream to rehydrate. I think the world might be a better place. All right, let's see if we can find anybody enjoying their pool. All right. We'll go see if maybe Thor and Max would like to join me and have any interest in their pool. I wouldn't be well, and shame on me. I do not with me. But alas, I'm sure these two would want to come out and enjoy themselves. But if they want to hang out inside, that's just fine. Oh, here's Mr. And Maximillon is a F1 Savannah cat. F1 standing for first generation or fetal generation. Oh, is that a good place to keep cool? That's just the perfect amount of shade for a special boy like you. Trying to reconnect. I'll hang out for a moment longer, everyone. Sorry about that if we're going to have trouble with service here. But if you're just joining us, everyone, we're up in Hybrid Haven, keeping cool with some of our hybrid rescued residents. That's Maximillon, who's a F1 Savannah here, who calls TWS their forever home. He lives with also an F2 Savannah, that would be Thor. And both of these guys come into the Wildcat Sanctuary as surrendered pets. And oftentimes with these hybrid cats is people realizing that, the domestic traits of this animal really are overshadowed by those wild traits. The territorial urination, kind of the lack of affection that some of those cats offer, the vocalization, and as well as some of the health issues attached with the breeding of these hybrid cats. Chrissy P saying, Max looks so nice and cool in there. I think he does too. Nice to be spending some time with the little ones. Belinda Dissinger saying, just got the notification now. Glad to have you, Belinda. Daniel, let's see here. Enjoying the shade, that's right. And yeah, sorry about that, Melissa Span. We did kind of lose service for a second, and same with you, Jill. Things can get a little bit dicey back here in Hybrid Haven sometimes with all the fencing. I see some people asking about Bruno. We made an attempt to go see him last week, so maybe we can go check in on that big guy today. I know that everybody is curious to see how he's enjoying his summer. Ooh, sweating. I'm kind of flattered that Maximillon came over and said hi to me like that, and Thor still must be hanging inside. It's Thor who's usually a little bit more. Whew. It's even hot for the paparazzi today. No lady. Oh. Here we go. Here's Savannah Lady. If I can see the screen here. This is nice, and I feel like we haven't been able to catch Lady on a live post. Maybe kind of not at a moment like this when she's kind of just totally relaxing and enjoying herself here. And Lady's one of our newer hybrid rescues. It would be, I think, her and Mr. Merlin would be some of our more newest hybrid rescues who are calling TWS their forever home. And Miss Lady certainly has been enjoying her time here and has been getting lots of love and affection from that would be Ty and Ledger. We know that those boys have lots of love to give, and particularly it seems to female cats. They can often dote over them, so I'm happy that Lady is getting that exact treatment. In addition to just the pace of life here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, we're so happy that you guys are able to enable us to say yes to cats like her. I'm gonna make a kind of loop around Small Cat Track to see if we can find Serval Bruno. I really have not done the best job at keeping up with comments today. Oh, someone was peeking in the door behind Lady. Good eye, Kathy. I can take an educated guess, and I'm sure that's Ledger, excuse me. The hutch that Lady was kind of sitting on the porch of is a favorite haunt for Ledger the Savannah. So I can make the pretty educated guess, and I'm sure that was his little mug peeking out at us. Alrighty. Someone was asking, does she snuggle? Asking about Lady. And that's a good question. And I, truthfully, we wouldn't really know the answer to that because we don't really try to snuggle with those hybrid cats. If those are the type of cats that want that affection and want pets, we're going to offer them that. But Lady, she's happy with kind of a little bit less of that physical contact as opposed to some of our other hybrids. So we're going to let Lady tell us what she is most comfortable with. And she's not too much of a lover or snuggler, which is totally fine. And not too compelling of an image, but we found Bruno. That's his backside. You can see that long stripe that kind of leads all the way down the back of his body. Oh, I think he's longer than I'm giving him credit for. He's about as flat as can be, laying down in the shade there in the front of his habitat. Glad we got to see him. I was kind of boasting last week, I think, when we came to see Bruno, is that he's a master of camouflage. And it's just so cool that he's been given an opportunity to do that, thinking about him wandering the streets of Boston this last January. Now he's hiding in tall grass and is obviously being fawned over by you guys, and so much support that you guys have offered him since that time. Let's see if I can zoom in on his little face here. Yeah. There you are, Mr. Bruno. Look at all the people who are so happy to see you here. That's Judson. There we go. There we go. Nice to see some slow blinks from Mr. Bruno, and Bruno is a funny character. Oftentimes you see that he's very flat, and he kind of has the trappings of a cat that might be uncomfortable or showing some type of unease. But Bruno is a stalker. I have never seen one of our rescued Servals stalk like Bruno does. And oftentimes when I get up and walk away, Bruno is on my case and is coming to see what I was doing. But just goes to show, how much we need to remain vigilant with all of our residents. It's impressive that even Bruno is able to do something like that. Yeah, what do you think, Mr. Goofy? now you got a big branch in front of your face, and we really can't see you, Can zoom out here. Little kind of plowed pathways or mowed pathways. It's not summer. Mowed pathways for Mr. Bruno. Kathy Ryan saying that Bruno only has 3 legs. That is correct. Bruno is one of our tripod residents here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I'm just going to see if I can see his little face a little bit better. And then we'll, I think, kind of move over to see if anybody's out and around in Small Cat Track. There's Mr. Bruno. We can barely see him. We have the willow tree kind of flickering in front of us, the pine tree that he's laying under. I'm in the shade right now. I feel the breeze. Bruno, it feels nice in the shade with a little bit of breeze, so we're glad that you're taking advantage of that. But obviously, caretakers are still topping off those water buckets, making sure they're cool. Any of those large in-ground pools that you guys know, way out and just refilling them, topping them off, making sure that water's staying cool. I can see a sprinkler going kind of near the front of small cat track. Just kind of twinkling some water across some of the hats and keep those pop and helping those cats cool down that way. But all in all, I can really heat of the day. Exciting to see that caretakers are already 10 steps ahead of them and have all this enrichment placed, have all the pools set. And it's just going to be a day full of topping off those waters and kind of just doing exactly what I'm said. Dropping in blood sickles. We'll even put blood sickles into the water if it encourages a cat to come up and drink. Hey, we got all the time in the world to drop it down with our cleaning formula and just fill things that are going to be the main focus for days like today and pretty much the remainder of the week. All right. I'm going to make a couple attempts to check in with some cats. Otherwise, I think we might have to call that a live post for this morning. Have some more kind of scheduled live posts for the remainder of the week. We're going to actually be seeing some cats cooling off in action. Here's Mr. Archer. We'll hang out with this special boy. And Mr. Copper. Here we go. We can see Archer on his little skywalk there. And Copper down below in the shade. Both of them in the shade, actually. I'm going to catch up on some comments here. Do any of the cats like to play in the hose spray? You know, some of them do. It's really not something we like doing per se. Just because it has the cat coming up to the habitat wall, it has them kind of biting near the fence and the metal, and we just don't want them to injure themselves. So, you know, we've had times where we're filling kind of those the smaller stock tank pools. Well, we'll have a hose kind of hanging, but securely hanging on the fence there, and so the cats can lap at the water. But it's not typically something we do. We just don't want the cat kind of coming up to the habitat wall and somehow injuring itself. Michelle Moore says, hope you have a bottle of water. You bet, Michelle. I got a big, tall water bottle sitting at my desk. I'm going to be making sure that it is getting nice and drank today. At least I'll fill it up and drink it at least 2 times. But that was a good question, Jessica. I appreciate you asking that about the hose. I know a lot of us have seen how much fun our dogs have kind of jumping and playing with that water. You'd think that it might be the same with the cats. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but like I said, safety first. Thank you, Daniel. I will definitely stay hydrated. Sherry V saying, really bad area for service. It has been a really kind of poor service live posting for the past about week or so. And I've been marking down spots where it's been bad. So I appreciate everyone's patience on that. Off Mr. Copper goes. Alan Simmons, nice of you to say about Mr. Bruno and how at home he feels in his habitat. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's, you know, just so much of that thanks goes to you guys, our supporters, for allowing all of that to happen, for us to sustain Bruno with the life that he knows, for us to be able to say yes to rescuing him. It's so awesome. So thank you all. Kate Frost saying, speaking of Bruno, there's Bruno. I've been waiting to see him. I'm from Massachusetts and have been following him. Thank you. Well, Kate Frost, that's wonderful. We're glad that you're supporting Mr. Bruno all the way over from where he hailed from, the East Coast. So thanks for following along and offering him your enthusiasm and support. That's very much appreciated. And that's Mr. Archer there. I saw Copper head up to his skywalk, I think. Yeah, that's a good spot. That's a real good spot, mister. You got a shade, you got a little bit of height. So we'll let that flickering tail kind of be our sign off for the day. I hope everyone has a equally safe day, just as all of us here are going to be having at the Wildcat Sanctuary, both staff and cats with all this heat. And thank you guys again for letting us, making us equipped for situations like this. All the little kiddie pools, all the tunicicles, all the expertise that our caretaking staff carries around with them when it comes to keeping our cats safe in situations like this. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have an excellent rest of your Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.